Hello and welcome to Don't Do This Guide, the channel dedicated to helping you achieve gardening success by learning what not to do. There's a certain satisfaction in knowing the pitfalls to avoid, wouldn't you agree? Today, we're delving into the fascinating world of composting, a process that's so beneficial for your garden, yet often misunderstood. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future tips and tricks for a thriving garden. Now, composting might seem simple enough. Just chuck a load of garden waste in a heap and let nature do its thing, right? Well, not quite. There's a bit more science to it than that. One of the most common mistakes is ignoring the crucial balance between carbon and nitrogen, the building blocks of healthy compost. Without this balance, your composting efforts might not yield the best results. Think of it like this. Carbon-rich materials, your browns, are like the long, slow-burning logs on a bonfire. They provide the structure and energy needed for the composting process. These include things like dried leaves, shredded paper, and straw. They are essential for creating air pockets and maintaining the right texture. They provide the energy for decomposition, but need a good poke to get going. Regularly turning your compost helps to aerate it and speed up the process. Nitrogen-rich materials, your greens, are like the kindling that gets the fire roaring. They are the quick-burning fuel that kickstarts the composting process. Think grass clippings, vegetable scraps, and coffee grounds. These materials are rich in nutrients and help to heat up the compost pile. They provide the heat and speed up the composting process. A hot compost pile is a sign that things are breaking down efficiently. Getting the right mix is crucial. Too much carbon, and your compost will decompose slowly, leaving you with a rather sad, sluggish heap. It can be frustrating to wait for months without seeing much progress. Too much nitrogen, and you risk a smelly, slimy mess. This can attract pests and make your compost pile unpleasant to manage. Aim for a ratio of roughly 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. This balance ensures that the composting process is efficient and effective. It sounds complicated, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, it becomes second nature. You'll start to intuitively know what your compost pile needs. A good way to visualize this is to imagine layering your compost bin like a lasagna. Each layer plays a crucial role in the overall process. A layer of brown materials, followed by a thinner layer of green materials. This layering helps to maintain the right balance and promotes even decomposition. Keep repeating this layering process, and you'll be well on your way to creating that perfect compost. Consistency is key to achieving the best results. Remember, achieving a balanced carbon-to-nitrogen ratio is the foundation of successful composting. It's the secret to a thriving compost pile. It's about creating the perfect environment for those microscopic organisms to work their magic. These tiny helpers are essential for breaking down the materials. And what a reward for getting it right! Rich, crumbly compost that your plants will absolutely adore. Your garden will thrive and you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. Now, just as there are certain plants that thrive in specific conditions, there are also specific guidelines for what should and shouldn't go into your compost bin. There are certain materials that should never darken the door of your compost bin, as they can cause more harm than good. These are the composting no-nos, the troublemakers that can disrupt the delicate ecosystem you're trying to cultivate and maintain. First on the list are cooked foods, particularly meat and dairy products. These items are notorious for causing issues in compost bins. These can attract unwanted pests and create unpleasant odors, not to mention potentially introducing harmful bacteria to your compost, which can be detrimental to your garden. Next, we have diseased plants. Including these in your compost can be a big mistake. While it might seem like composting is a good way to dispose of them, you actually risk spreading those diseases to your healthy plants when you use the finished compost. This can lead to widespread plant health issues. It's best to dispose of diseased plants separately, ensuring they don't contaminate your compost. We also want to avoid anything synthetic, like plastics and treated wood. These materials are not biodegradable. These materials won't break down properly and can contaminate your compost with harmful chemicals, making it unsafe for your garden. Pet waste is another big no-no. It might seem natural, but it's not suitable for composting. It can contain harmful parasites and bacteria that can survive the composting process and pose a risk to human health, making your compost unsafe to use. And finally, while it might seem natural to throw weeds into your compost, be cautious. Not all weeds are safe to compost. Some weeds, especially those that have gone to seed, can survive the composting process and spread like wildfire in your garden, creating more problems than they solve. Remember, your compost bin is a carefully balanced ecosystem, not a dumping ground for everything and anything. Proper management is key. By avoiding these prohibited materials, you'll ensure a healthy and productive composting process, leading to a thriving garden. Just like us, our compost needs the right amount of moisture to thrive. Moisture is a critical component in the composting process, acting as a catalyst for the breakdown of organic materials. Too much and it becomes a soggy, airless mess. This can lead to unpleasant odors and slow down the decomposition process. Too little, and the decomposition process grinds to a halt. Dry compost lacks the necessary moisture for microorganisms to thrive. So how do we find that sweet spot, that Goldilocks zone of perfect compost moisture? It's all about balance and regular monitoring. Think of a wrung-out sponge. This is the ideal consistency you're aiming for in your compost pile. That's the ideal consistency you're aiming for. It should feel damp, but not dripping wet. If you squeeze a handful of compost and water drips out, it's too wet. This excess moisture can suffocate the beneficial microorganisms. Add more dry, carbon-rich materials like shredded paper or cardboard to soak up the excess moisture. These materials help balance the moisture levels. On the other hand, if your compost feels dry and crumbly, it's time to give it a drink. Moisture is essential for the composting process to continue. Water it gently, like you would a delicate seedling, until it feels damp but not waterlogged. This ensures even moisture distribution. Regularly checking the moisture level is key, especially during hot summer months when evaporation is high. Consistent monitoring helps maintain the ideal conditions. Remember, a well-moistened compost pile is a happy compost pile. It promotes efficient decomposition and a healthier garden. It encourages those beneficial microorganisms to break down organic matter efficiently, resulting in faster decomposition and nutrient-rich compost. This is the key to a thriving compost system. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and really get to know your compost. Understanding its needs will lead to better results. It's all about finding that balance, that perfect level of moisture where life can flourish. A balanced compost pile is the foundation of a healthy garden. Imagine for a moment that you're surrounded by a mountain of delicious food, but you can't quite reach it. Frustrating, isn't it? Well, that's what it's like for the beneficial organisms in your compost pile if it's not aerated properly. Turning your compost pile is like giving it a good stir, allowing air to circulate and reach every nook and cranny. This provides those essential oxygen molecules that the microorganisms need to break down organic matter efficiently. Think of it as a workout for your compost. A good turn every week or two will do wonders, speeding up the decomposition process and preventing unpleasant odors. You see, those odors are often a sign of anaerobic decomposition, which occurs when there's a lack of oxygen. Now, I know turning a compost pile might not sound like the most glamorous of gardening tasks, but trust me, it's well worth the effort. It's a simple yet effective way to keep your compost healthy, happy, and smelling fresh. And remember, a well-aerated compost pile is a productive compost pile, churning out that rich, dark, earthy goodness that your garden will thank you for. When it comes to composting, size does matter. Starting with a compost pile that's too small can hinder the decomposition process and leave you with a less than satisfactory result. Think of it like this. A larger compost pile generates more heat, much like a bonfire burns hotter with more logs. This heat is crucial for breaking down organic matter efficiently and killing off any unwanted pathogens or weed seeds. Aim for a compost pile that's at least 1 cubic meter in size. This will provide enough mass to retain heat and create the ideal environment for those hardworking microorganisms. Of course, if space is limited, you can still compost effectively, but you might need to be more attentive to the other factors we've discussed, such as the carbon to nitrogen ratio and moisture levels. Remember, a larger compost pile requires less maintenance and produces compost more quickly. It's a win-win situation for both you and your garden. Imagine trying to eat a whole apple in one go. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Well, the same principle applies to composting. The smaller the pieces of organic matter, the easier it is for the microorganisms to break them down. Chopping, shredding, or even just giving those larger materials a good bash with the back of a spade can significantly speed up the composting process. It's all about increasing the surface area available for those microscopic decomposers to work their magic. Think of it as creating a delicious buffet for the microorganisms, with bite-sized pieces that are easy to digest. This will result in faster decomposition and a more consistent compost texture. Now, I'm not suggesting you spend hours meticulously chopping every single leaf and twig, but a little effort goes a long way. Even just roughly chopping those larger materials can make a noticeable difference. Remember, the faster the decomposition process, the sooner you'll have that beautiful, nutrient-rich compost to nourish your garden. There you have it. Some of the most critical composting mistakes that could be preventing you from creating that perfect, nutrient-rich compost for your garden. Remember, composting is a journey, not a race. It's about observing, adjusting, and finding that perfect balance that allows nature to work its magic. By avoiding these don'ts, you'll be well on your way to composting success and healthier plants. You'll be amazed at the difference homemade compost can make to your garden, from improving soil structure to boosting plant growth. If you found this guide helpful and learned what not to do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Don't Do This Guide for more gardening advice focused on avoiding common errors. Have you made any of these mistakes? Let us know in the comments below. We love to hear your composting trials and tribulations. Happy gardening!